have to understand the nature of our revenue base. And you have to distinguish between the GDP and revenue. Revenue is the taxes that the government collects from the how well a country has done in terms of its production of goods and services in what they call a fiscal year, which is not an annual year. One of the documents from the Ministry of Energy I read said that 45% of our GDP, which is the value of all the goods and services produced in that fiscal year. That doesn't mean the government's own, because the government gets its taxes, which is revenues, from those goods and services. So it's two different numbers.
And taxes.
And that's where the energy sector and police and the arrangements, the Ministry of Energy in particular, but of VAT, you paying your PAYE, corporation taxes, all the various taxes, all these taxes that we pay. So those are the ways that we get the revenue. But the revenue, if your gross domestic product, your value of your goods and services for this year is say 50 billion, obviously your revenue is going to be affected, because the amount of taxes that you're going to collect is obviously impacted by how much GDP the country has produced.
So then the only other way they may be able to get money is by borrowing, which you
raised earlier. But they borrow a lot. They have to borrow with fiscal. But normally, what you tend to do is take a conservative position, because you want to say to the ministries, look, I can't give you more what you're asking me for, because right now it's not looking like that. But that's why the media review then gives you the chance to adjust the budget and either give more or borrow, because you're looking at a deficit, so you're going to have to go out to the market. And that's why Standard & Poor's and Moody's and all of these rating agencies that rate your sovereign bonds and in effect rate the state of your economy and how well it is or is not doing. And of course, what has happened, oftentimes we have seen that is a reflection of the government on two counts. Getting the revenue numbers wrong each time. I think something is a little bit wrong with that. The reason being that, at least from my experience, you always took a very conservative position, because you always wanted to give yourself wiggle room, because every ministry wants more than you give them, In my respectful opinion, and it has always been the case, that you take a conservative number with your revenue numbers with gas and especially with gas, because we are a natural gas economy, right? And the reason you do that is you tell the ministry, listen, the way it's looking right now, you know that energy prices are extraordinarily volatile. We know that. And we're talking about not only, we're talking about methane, we're talking about urea, we're talking about ammonia, all the downstream. It's not just LNG, we're talking about a whole number of energy-related products. Yes. And they are subject to a high degree of volatility. We were looking now at a deficit, because it's not January to January. It's the quarter one starts in October. So the first quarter was good, but in January 2023, prices of natural gas have started sliding. And with that slide, the revenue starts to go down. And as the revenue starts to go down, your revenue take is not going to be as much, but you still have a fixed expenditure. You never want to be in a deficit.
Ideally, you don't
want it to be a recurring decimal in your thing. Just like any business. I mean, every year you go into the bank and telling them, I haven't made this amount, they're going to say, you sure you know what you're doing?